You know, the role of genetics in lupus, I think, has not only been obvious to the physicians caring for patients with lupus for years, but it's even been kind of obvious to the patients because so many families have multiple individuals who have lupus or another autoimmune disease. Around 2005, we actually developed this map called GWAS studies, which actually gave us an idea of what genes or the positions of the genes that were associated with diseases like lupus and diabetes and RA. All of a sudden, they realized there wasn't one gene that caused lupus. There are actually many genes, and those genes work together to put you at risk for lupus. The thing that I've taken away from this is that the genes can teach us what's wrong in lupus. And it can teach us a lot about what's wrong in many lupus patients, so we can target it therapeutically. We have to use that and dig a little deeper to understand the disease more. One of the really fascinating things that's come out of our studies of the genes in lupus and in other autoimmune diseases is that many of the genes that are linked to lupus are linked to other autoimmune diseases. That's incredibly powerful information because it helps us understand how we may find a therapy in one autoimmune disease that's effective and apply it to another disease. It also helps us understand, do we need to worry about risk for other diseases as well? It may help us predict those diseases, and we hope in the end of the day use that information to prevent those diseases in people so we don't have to even get into this whole treatment scenario. The SLEGEN data came out in 2009, and that influenced my research very directly. We'd already made discoveries about how one gene associated with type 1 diabetes and lupus impacted B-cell function. What was really important when we then looked at the SLEGEN data was not just that that gene was there, but there were a list of genes that were associated with lupus that also alter the way B-cells function. And so that led us to our ALR-funded research, where we asked about those genes that were particular to lupus. That will help us find a therapy that's going to change the autoreactive B-cells. What we do is we look for genes that we think can impact pathways we think are important, in this case pathways involved in B-cell development. And also we want to study genes that we actually have the capacity to study. And so we look for genes that are important in lupus, that are important in the cells we're interested in, which are B cells, and then which we think we can approach with the tools that are at our disposal.